Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Hustle. I am your host, Alex Whitfield, and today we're talking about self sabotage. Now, honestly, doing this podathon, this is episode 11 of the podathon, by the way. If you don't know, we're doing a podathon where we drop an episode every single day. So make sure you subscribe. I'm doing it for the rest of November. So yeah, lock in with us. It's very important. Please don't let my efforts go to waste. Um, yeah, so we're doing a podathon, and honestly, as we're going through the podathon, I wanted to have an episode on self-sabotage because that's something that I think is very relevant to us, especially with it being Movember. Shout out to Movember. They're sponsoring the episode. And I want to talk about some elements of mental health that shows up in our businesses and as business owners. And that is, for this episode, self-sabotage. Now, if you don't know what self-sabotage is, of course, you probably do. I don't want to assume you're unintelligent, but I think for anybody in the room, self-sabotage is the process of hurting yourself and sabotaging yourself is literally straightforward, right? But what comes up, I think, when it comes to self-sabotage is the reasons behind it. And one thing I've learned from being in therapy is that there's layers to emotions. There's an outer layer, which could be anger, sadness, happiness, and below those are other emotions that are causing those main emotions. And self-sabotage is one of those things that can start and be present that is a symptom of a deeper issue going on, you know? And with this podathon, I have self-sabotage personally, and I want to have a little bit of a meta conversation about self-sabotage in this way because I noticed as I was going towards launching it, I was so hesitant on posting about it. Matter of fact, to this day, I have not posted about it on my Instagram and socials because going into such a challenge, you don't want to get embarrassed by quitting. You know, have you ever seen those people on social media starting a 75 hard? And they're like, I'm about to do 75 hard, da 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 da. And you're like, okay, all right, let's see you do it. I'm here, I'm locked in with you. And they start. They got day one going, and it's going, and then they two hits, they're going, and by day five, suddenly the posts start getting a little shaky. They're not as energetic, and there is a silent judgment that happens, at least for me, and I really was fearful of other people's judgment. I won't lie to you, especially being the business owner. So I wasn't posting as much about the podathon. And that was a self-sabotaging move because how are people going to know about the podathon unless they know about it? So um, that's something that has shown up in my life personally, and it's showed up before. There's times where I've created posts and didn't post it. Who am I speaking to? Who else has created all those posts and has a draft full of creations, or better yet, a camera roll full of images shot that are not getting edited and it's just sitting there. And because you fear what's on the other side of that post, what's on the other side of the execution, you don't post it. Literally getting in your own way. That is a symptom or a showcase of self-sabotage, you know? So I prepared some points here and did a little bit of research that I want to share with you guys on self-sabotage and some mental frameworks that we can all use to have a better flow when it comes to those moments. One of them that is an easy way of getting over it is the phrase, eat the frog. The phrase comes from, actually, I don't know where it comes from personally, but something that I've gotten, and shout out to Mastering POP, Miss Tia. She used to say this all the time when we used to talk. And what it is, this is a phrase saying, a frog looks disgusting. The task feels disgusting, it feels hard, it feels like a hill. But you shut your eyes, you have a big gulp and say, you know what, I'm eating the frog, and just go for it. Another one that's very helpful, this as a mental framework, as you feel those thoughts of, you feel those thoughts of, oh my days, I gotta go do this now, is 1, 2, 3, go. It sounds so simple, but having a mental framework of saying, you know what, I'm going to get up and go do it really helps. All right, let's get into some data, shall we? Self sabotage comes from 4 to 5 critical emotional behaviors. Number one is procrastination avoidance. Number two, perfectionism or overthinking. Number three, imposter feelings. Number four, people pleasing and the yes trap. And number five, self neglect or burnout. Now, this comes from Psychology Today and positivepsychology.com. When it comes to dealing with procrastination and avoidance, a practical response for this is to break tasks into small steps and use accountability partners. Now, I want to break that down a little bit. Breaking tasks into small steps. This is one of the bigger parts of self sabotage that I think hinders us the most. When we look at the overall task, we think of how big it is. And eating the frog looks like the entire frog. Sometimes what we need to do is cut that frog like it's cake into several different pieces. You know those videos of I can't believe it's cake, and they cut that can or that bag or whatever it is, and it's a cake. You got to look at that frog like it's cake, and cut into bite-sized pieces to get to a flow of, all right, I'm breaking this frog down into small pieces. Next is setting clear deadlines. By this date, I want to get this done, and having a clear structure of how you can get each piece done. This is something I didn't do with the Podathon correctly. I had these lofty goals, just taking responsibility. I didn't get enough done in enough time, you know? So something to consider for yourself. What deadlines are you putting in line for your goals? Next is setting, of course, SMART goals. Now, if you don't know what SMART goals are, please Google it. It's an easy acronym that always flows when it comes to setting goals for yourself. But one thing I think is the most important when it comes to self-sabotage is your proof of evidence. The other day, we had Jordan Manswell in the studio, and he said something that shook me to my core. He said, I still get imposter syndrome. Now, it might sound light, but let me tell you something. Jordan Manswell has been making beats and producing for over 15 years. I remember seeing him produce beats for me in grade 7 and has made songs for Mariah Carey, Chris Brown, shoot, the list was on Tony Braxton, yet he still gets imposter syndrome. And what I think can happen, and I've spoken to him about this, is we downplay our wins and weigh our losses tremendously. Now, I want to ask you something. When it comes to your thinking and thought process, what do you go to first? Your negative thoughts, your losses, your criticism, or your wins? The times people complimented you, the times you were celebrated. What goes to your mind as you walk through your mental process? It's so important to understand your bridge of incidents. Now, let me talk to you about the bridge of incidents. The bridge of incidents is a concept from Neville Goddard, Teachings that describe the sequence of events, both positive and seemingly negative, that unfold to bring you to your manifestation. The key is to trust your process and not to be discouraged by setbacks and viewing them as a part of the journey towards your desire. And one thing that helps me visually understand this is looking at snow footsteps. Have you ever been in a bank of snow and seen somebody's footsteps along that snow path? And you're like, okay, someone walked here, right? And you can put your feet in that footstep, but it's not exactly the same. This is the same kind of thing for the bridge of incidences. You control your destiny, and your custom experiences create your custom journey that you can have faith in when it comes to where you're going next. Believe that the journey and steps you already took will help you go forward. And with that being said, our after the podcast. I hope you got some gems from this, and there's some tools you can use as you go into your next steps. Please don't self-sabotage, and remember to eat the frog. Hustle what you can't control, so control your grind and control your life. And I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.